Okay, and we are live. ¿Qué tal, amigos? Stuart here from Spain Speaks with this evening's live stream at 7:30 p.m. It is the 6th of February 2024, and we're going to have a look at some of the main stories that have caught my attention in the press today. Some comments that have been left on the channel in recent times we will look at too, and then in the second half of today's live stream, as we normally do, we'll go into the chat section and see what is happening in that chat section. Now straight into the news, and Spain's farmers, or Spanish farmers, have joined their European counterparts and have started strike action and protests around the country. As we can see here, Spanish farmers bring out the tractors and cause traffic jams in several provinces due to road closures. Farmers and ranchers took to the roads with their tractors this Tuesday to demand fair prices for their produce, greater control over imports from non-EU countries, and a reduction in bureaucracy. The protesters have blocked roads and caused traffic jams in Castilla-La Mancha, Castilla y León, La Rioja, Catalonia, Andalusia, Madrid, and the Valencian community. The tractor protests have blocked access to the port of Malaga and to Mercolid, the main wholesale market in Valladolid. "Our end will be your hunger," reads one of the many banners alongside the slow procession of tractors in one of the mobilizations in La Rioja. In Castilla y León, sources from the government delegation have confirmed that a protester was arrested for assaulting a national police officer early in the morning near Mercolid, the main wholesale market, as we saw in Valladolid. So our end will be your hunger, threatening farmers around the country. Those words of threat, those threatening words, and fairly clear their end game here, to make people hungry and give in to their demands. Well, the Spanish government is on the front foot when it comes to giving in, and today they announced extraordinary aid for 140,000 farmers in the middle of a day of protests. The government has launched a special aid package for farmers during a day of protests, coinciding with the start of the countryside mobilizations in Spain, which aim to paralyze the main highways of our country. This Tuesday, the Ministry of Agriculture has published a provisional list of almost 140,000 beneficiaries who will receive up to 269 million euros. This aid is established in the Royal Decree Law 4th of 2023, benefiting individuals or legal entities or entities without legal personality who are owners of agricultural holdings that are eligible for direct aid from the Common Agricultural Policy in the 2023 campaign and have their holdings rain-fed cropland in their holdings rain-fed cropland, excluding temporary pastures, irrigated cropland in traditional rice-growing areas. Blah, 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 getting quite complicated there. But as we can see, 140,000 farmers receiving some 269 million euros, or at least being promised that by the Ministry of Agriculture. Because as we know, farming, a very heavily subsidized industry in many, many countries, not only here in Spain. We pay our taxes to subsidize farmers, and they try to keep the prices down, if that makes sense. I think that's the way it works. Next piece of news here, Spain to invest 502 million in desalination plants in Catalonia amid drought. Spain will invest 467 million euros, or $502 million, in two desalination plants on the Catalan coast as the northeastern region grapples with a 3-year drought. The plants will be built north and south of Barcelona, Spain's second largest city, and will have annual capacity to treat 80 million cubic meters, 21 billion gallons. The Environment Ministry said in a statement on Monday the plants will start operating in 2028 and 2029. The statement said the government's commitment is to do everything possible to help wherever needed to guarantee drinkable water. Environment Minister Teresa Rivera told a news conference in Barcelona. Catalonia's reservoirs are currently at 16% of capacity at a time of the year when rainfall would normally fill them up. Local authorities have established limits on water for residents to mitigate against the drought. So there we go, $502 million, or 467 million euros being spent on these new desalination plants in Catalonia. But they won't be ready until 2028, 2029, so it's not going to help the current drought. And some people saying, well, why weren't these desalination plants done 10 years ago or during the previous drought? Never got around to it, unfortunately. And now there's a war of words between the opposition and the government as to why things weren't done earlier when it comes to satisfying the water needs of Spain's residents. That's the question being asked at the moment. Maybe a little bit too late, but we'll see. And there was also news in the paper today about how the government is bailing out other desalination plants around the country because they're not economically friendly. They're not viable. Apparently, they cost a lot of money to run. So to get them running, more cash. Last piece of news here, and Bukele blasts Spain after his re-election as president of El Salvador. We're not going to be their lackeys, he said. The president of El Salvador, Nayib Bukele, has criticized Spain, stating that they do not intend to be their lackeys. This was during a rally on the Esplanade in front of the National Palace hours after he proclaimed himself the winner of the presidential elections held this Sunday, and after the Supreme Electoral Tribunal confirmed his victory. He also referred to the system of government in Spain, stating that they respect the monarchy but do not plan to submit to it, Bukele declared. In the first part of his speech, he strongly criticized the special correspondents from foreign media, especially those from Spain, but also the United Nations and the Organization of American States, as well as non-governmental organizations and human rights activists who have criticized his management. So Mr. Bukele on the front foot there, criticizing Spain. Not going to be Spain's lackey is El Salvador. Don't know what he means by that. But this anti-Spain sentiment that we know is popping up around some Latin American countries. And, of course, Mr. Bukele expressing his opinions about Spain and Spanish journalists. And let's just say that some of the press here in Spain are a little bit divided on Mr. Bukele there in El Salvador, and especially those harsh words against Spain, because I think Spain wants to be friends with all of these countries, wants to be amigos, as they say, but some of those countries there have other ideas, as we know, and that growing anti-Spanish sentiment on display there from Mr. Bukele. Now into the comment section we will go now. Let's have a look at what's happening in the comment section. One here from Osuaket. Pardon my American ignorance, but why don't more people grow their own veggies? There has been a huge push where I live recently to be more self-sustainable. Is it a space issue, a lack of knowledge, or willingness? Don't mean to offend, just curious. I think you hit the nail on the head here, Osuaket, when you said that it's a space issue. The majority of people in Spain, I would say, I don't know the exact percentage, but a large percentage of the population live in apartments or flats, and they don't have the space needed to grow any decent amount of vegetables, I don't think. Maybe you can grow some tomatoes on the terrace or on the balcony, but that's about it. Where I live here, people live in houses, the majority. But people that I know, except for my neighbour on this side here, he grows his own veg, and the guy on this side has a fig tree, nothing else, got a fig tree. And people that I know in their gardens, they're not growing any produce. They prefer to go to supermarkets and buy it. Recently, there have been some initiatives here to set up communal plots of land to grow, and different neighbours get access to this. They seem to be retired people tending those gardens and plots, so not sure what they do with the produce once it is ready to be picked. I imagine they just take it to their kitchens and cook it up, and away they go. But space is the issue, and also willingness I would throw in there as well. Just my opinion, though. Another one here from Merck. If this starts affecting tourism, it will cause the Canarian economy to collapse. It's completely dependent on it. Yes, referring to the amount of people from Africa that have recently arrived in the Canary Islands. Huge numbers coming in recent times. Last weekend, I think, over the 1,000 mark. And we saw the EU going to give Mauritania, I think it was, some 200 million to try to stem the flow of these boats to the Canaries. Will it affect the tourism industry down there? I've got no idea, to be honest. I've got no idea whether it will affect the tourism industry. I don't think the objective of African migrants is to stay in the Canary Islands. Some most likely will. Others will try to get to parts of Europe, if not Spanish mainland. So don't know what the end goal there is for that. But will it kill tourism? I don't think so. I think there's a long way to go before that industry is affected by this immigration from Africa. But again, just my opinion. Another one here from Charlie, and it says that North African criminals took over the street where I lived in Zaragoza. I had to move out. The Casco Viejo is almost uninhabitable now. The Gancho zone, all the shops go. And we are left with a small, poor, desolate Arab-speaking enclave. Politicians don't live anywhere near there, needless to say. Yeah, Charlie, thanks for that. Not familiar with that part of Zaragoza, where you say that North African criminals have taken over the street where you used to live. I imagine that you've gone, and the Casco Viejo, almost uninhabitable now. This is one of the issues that a lot of people complain about here in Spain, and of course it is criminal gangs. That's what people don't like to see, especially when they come from foreign countries. And in recent times, if you believe some parts of the media, a lot of the foreign gangs, or a lot of the gangs here, are made up of people that were not born in Spain. Now, I don't know if that's true or not, but some of the gangs that we hear about, for example, here in Madrid, the Latin Kings and groups like that, Dominicans don't play, of course, Dominican Republic, I imagine. So that is one of the biggest complaints of people living here, and Charlie living it firsthand there with those North African criminals coming into Zaragoza and taking over the streets there. So thanks, Charlie, for your input. Another one here from Cindy, Create for Life. The old bait and switch, highly unethical in real estate or any business. Shame. Now, we don't want to criticize all real estate agents in Spain, but this was something that we saw. I think it was in a comment yesterday in relation to a real estate video that I put out on Saturday, and somebody said that they fell victim to the old bait and switch, as Cindy puts it. Saw a nice property for rent online, that the person gave their information to the real estate agent, got in a WhatsApp chat situation, and the property wasn't available, and this person doubts it existed, and of course other inferior properties are then offered, and if you're desperate, you probably take those inferior properties. So the scam is put a fantastic property up on the internet, get people interested, and of course once they're in your contact list, you offer them different properties. Highly unethical. Well, I'm sure it's not the only unethical practice that goes on in real estate, not only here in Spain, but around the world. A very cutthroat business, as we know, and people desperate to sell properties, I imagine. And that's why they use these techniques, no doubt. Another comment here from Malcolm. Hello, Stuart. Think you can combine several properties to maximize that 500k total, re the golden visa. Yeah, we saw this the other day also. I think it was Dave made a comment saying that he would like to see more 500,000 euro properties in some of the videos that I'm doing for that golden visa aspect, where you need to spend 500k. But according to Malcolm, and I thought this was the case, that you can buy several properties that total up to 500,000 euros. You don't have to buy a single property. You can, of course, but you don't have to. So you could invest 500,000 in maybe 2 or 3 properties, depending on where you buy them, rent them out, and that would qualify you for that golden visa scheme. But as I said yesterday, talking the European Union to scrap that golden visa. Portugal's modified it, I think, because obviously the Portuguese are not happy about being forced out of their own real estate market by rich foreigners coming into the country. And here in Spain, I'm hearing similar things. So, if you want to get that golden visa scheme, if you've got a spare 500 to invest in Spain, you want to get that golden visa, you might want to hurry up. That would be my recommendation. Although I don't think it's going to finish anytime soon, but you never know next year or the year after, because as I said, the EU wants countries to crack down on it. And the final piece of news from Lee, final comment, I have no idea why, but I would be reluctant to give up my UK passport even though I really visit anymore. Yeah, I think a lot of people share that sentiment, Lee, when it comes to passports and where you're from. I know that I've been living in Spain a long time, but I would never consider burning what was the word here? Giving up or slashing, as somebody said the other day, my Australian passport, because I like to have that passport, to be honest. I've never really considered myself to be Spanish. I understand that some people want to become Spanish for various reasons, whether they think it'll be easier for them to live here, not having to go through a renewal process every now and again with residency permits and things like that. Maybe you want to become a politician, so you become a Spanish citizen. Maybe you want to join the army. Maybe you want to become a civil guard or a police officer. You might need to be Spanish to do that. I don't know. But for me, it's not the case. And to become Spanish, don't know whether it would be something I'm willing to do, considering that Spain makes you give up your other residency, your other citizenship, But as somebody else pointed out the other day, they don't physically go with you to make sure that you hand the other one in. And if you are from the UK or if you are from Australia, you will always be recognised, I think, as citizens from those countries, unless you specifically tell them that you no longer want to be a resident of the citizen of the UK or a citizen of Australia, which is my case. I think that's how it works. But Spain just doesn't recognise you as another citizen if you become Spanish. I think that's how it works. But again, you'd have to seek legal advice if you wanted to know better information. Now, that's the end of the news and comments for today. What I'm going to do now is change the backdrop. I'll do that here quickly. This photo was sent in by Gavin, who's spending the winter months in Andalusia in San Juan de los Terreros. And this picture sent in a nice coastal shot, sun reflecting on the ocean there, or the sea. And thank you very much for sending this one in, Gavin. And I hope you enjoy your time down there in Spain. Email address for people that have a similar picture that they would like to see on the backdrop is this one here, spainspeaks@gmail.com. Feel free to send it through. Any other piece of news or information that you have and you would like to bring to my attention, that's the email address. Feel free. People that have supported the channel in recent times, a big thanks for that, whether it's on the super thanks option or the super chat here on the live streams. Buying me a coffee. Somebody bought me some coffees today. Thank you very much for that. Linda, I think it was. Thank you very much, Linda. And longer-term supporters on Patreon, thanks for that support. And also people that have become members of the channel in recent times. The latest member, I think, was Alan, who joined the channel yesterday or the day before. Thank you very much, Alan, for that, for coming on board. $1.99 a month. And as I mentioned the other day, some Spanish learning videos. I'm going to put my Spanish knowledge out there for people to learn if they would like to improve their Spanish language skills. Even though there's lots of information now on the internet about how to learn Spanish, I'll share my knowledge with you guys as well in the members section. Like button also on the screen. If you haven't hit it, please. There it is. Just below the video, you will find the like button. Hit it, please. 63 currently. We'll see if we can get up to a decent tally today if you hit that like button. Now, into the chat section. Let's have a look. Firstly, I can see a super chat here, so I'll get it out of the way. Marcus. Thank you very much, Marcus. Regular contributor to the super chats. €5. Nice to see Vox taking advantage of the disquiet, is that disquiet, I think, to advance their cause. When and where have we heard that before? For example, to say about 90 years ago. Yeah, I haven't heard much about Vox recently, to be honest, Marcus. They seem to be flying under the radar at the moment. Maybe where you are, they're making some noise. Don't know. But we see I think last week or the week before, they had some problems in the Balearic Islands. A lot of people resigned or got the sack. The leader of Vox has reaffirmed his position in the organisation to become even stronger. But we'll see when the elections roll around. The elections coming up in Galicia, but they don't have a big presence in Galicia, Vox, for various reasons, because the PP is very strong there, so Vox hasn't been able to get much action. But thanks, Marcus, for that. Barbara coming in from the Playa Flamenca, pleasant day, 23 this afternoon. Nice weather. James and Kathy coming in from a wet and windy Worcester, where it's due to get colder and snowy this week. Log fire burning and wine in hand. Always necessary. High Flyer John is in the chat as well. Supporter of the channel is John here, valued member. Evening all, hoping all is well with everyone. Richard, also a valued member, coming in from a milder but very windy North Yorkshire. Janet's also a valued member, coming in from a wet and windy Oxford. Ross coming in from Valencia, 19 there today. I'll take that, 19. Colder here today in Madrid, I will say. CH coming in from Marbella. What a difference in the weather from North London and length of day. Yes, that's why so many people like to spend some winter time here in Spain for those longer days and weather. Steve Smith, hope it's not the Australian batsman Steve Smith, got stuck on the motorway. No, I don't think it is. Got stuck on the motorway in it today for over an hour. Ended up not being able to go to work alongside my colleagues. Was that here in Spain, Steve? Let us know. Probably got stuck up in the in the farmers' protests. Probably. Yeah, a lot of people couldn't get to work. No farmers, no food, says Triggered. Yeah, I don't think we'll get to that. I think the government will shut this one down before we get to that stage. Janet coming in. The Spanish government seems to have a bottomless pit of money for projects. It does, Janet. It does indeed have a bottomless pit. When you've got a bottomless pit coming from Europe, you've got a bottomless pit to spend here. Giovanna coming in from, I think, Badajoz, I think Giovanna's coming in from. Thanks for the update. Thank you, Giovanna. Gigi coming in from a wet Arizona, still quite warm but raining. Greetings to all. Gigi will be back in Spain soon, and a book will be published soon also. Book on the Camino de Santiago, the favourite pastime of Gigi in the summer months here in Spain. Steve coming in also. So where are they going to get the energy to run the desal plant? Windmills? Don't know, Steve, but it's a government project, of course. Probably run off, put some solar panels on the roof, and away they go. Harry coming in from Andalusia. I don't know where Harry's coming in from, but trying to buy a small house in Andalusia. It's very cheap. Hearing local mayors blackmail you into paying thousands extra, and if you don't cough up, your electric car won't be connected. Yeah, I've heard of some shady practices going on down there in Andalusia in various towns. Lots of foreign residents complaining about being overcharged for water. And this one here, local mayors blackmailing you into paying thousands extra. And if you don't, your electric car won't be connected. Haven't heard about that one, Harry. Fill us in a little bit more. Fill us in some more. Mary coming in from Peñíscola, I think. Hoping you've had a good week. So far, Mary, we're only 2 days in. I'll maybe on Thursday it'll be a different answer. Laura says that her boyfriend and her watch videos every day. Thanks, Laura, for tuning in. Great videos. Thanks, Laura. Good to see you and your boyfriend tuning in to watch the video. Stephen, valued member, coming in from a wet and windy North London. Stephen obviously hoping that he can drink one of those beers by the coast shortly, I think. Mark is saying here, growing your own. Check, what's that? Crackty hydroponics. Hydroponics have a bad rap from other herbal crops, but perfect for home salad and herbs, or herbs, as they say in the States, in a small space and small budget. There we go. I don't think people are going to go to that detail or to that trouble to grow those things, Marcus. Some people might, obviously, but others maybe not. Harry is apparently Diane in Antiqueta. There we go. Thanks for that. Jonathan coming in, still in Washington. A friend is on the road from Valencia to Andorra, and the farmers are making the trip a challenge. Yeah, they are indeed. That's their protest. They saw the French protesting the other day and said, well, we better get in on the act, or we're not going to get any extra. So they pulled the tractors onto the roads. Janet's saying that in Seville there are allotments where people or groups of friends grow produce. I've had some great tomatoes and greens from there. Yeah, I'm sure there are these initiatives all around the place, Janet, but my point was that the majority of people in their pisos, in their apartamentos, don't really have the space to grow anything. And given the percentage of the population that live that way here in Spain, in flats or pisos, as they call them here. Just seeing something on my phone. Yeah, it's a space issue, I would say. Thumbado a tope coming in from, I think this is Ibiza, I think. Good afternoon, Stu. Beloved wife had a court case against the Social Security today for the permanent invalidate that was, what's that word? Denied to her during, I think that's denied to her during COVID, with not seeing a doctor. That's Spain. Regards. Yeah, let us know how she went on with that court case in the Social Security. The whole hospital system struggled during that time, as we know. Bob coming in from Torrevieja. Valued member also is Bob. Some years back when the PP were in power, they wanted to take the water from the Ebro just before it entered the sea. Yeah, there's been lots of plans, Bob, but nothing gets done because of the political setup that is Spain, as we know. Different autonomous communities, different political groups in power, and it's all about trying to hold on to that power, and you do whatever is necessary, even if it means letting your neighbouring autonomous community not have access to your water. I think we just, they cancelled the plans. That's it. The PSOE cancelled the plans. Ebro River, one of the biggest rivers in Spain, I think. The Ebro. If you've been to Zaragoza, you will have seen the Ebro River. I think it starts in Cantabria. Don't quote me on that. Starts up there and finishes in Catalonia. Laura's saying that the UK lets you have both passports, therefore you can tell the Spanish worker, oh yeah, I will get rid of my UK passport, but you don't do it. How are they going to know? That is true. That is true. Yeah, how are they going to know? Exactly. That's it. How are they going to know? How are they going to know? Even if you did, you can ask for another one. That's true. Totally correct about renouncing British citizenship when you take Spanish citizenship. Been there, done that, and got the T-shirt and the DNI passport birth certificate. There we go. Thanks for that, Marcus. Spanish citizen. Yes, I would like language videos as my Argentinian teacher no longer has the time to do lessons. Really? Argentinian teacher no longer has the time to do lessons. Probably busy down there in Argentina with all of the changes taking place thanks to Mr. Milei, or at least trying to change the country is Mr. Milei. Not going to be easy. Flutter Girl coming in from a cool Toronto. Learning resources would be a good idea, especially coming from a native English speaker. I have always found pronouns to be a challenge. Yes, a lot of challenges when it comes to Spanish. Giovanna, yeah, Badajoz. I thought it was Giovanna. I think you sent me a message on Messenger. Diablo saying something farming. I don't know what exactly were the words there that were blocked out. Renan coming in from rainy LA. Gordon coming in from a wet and windy UK. Richard also would like some help with the Espanol, would be much appreciated. Okay, we'll organise that. And Brussels has all the farmers. Yeah, they've got all of the European farmers. Don't know how many Spanish farmers have made the trek to Brussels, but the Spanish ones, as we've seen, are deciding to get in on the act. They don't want to be left short of these subsidies. Now, that's the end of the live stream. It's been a pleasure as always. No more comments to look at here. I'll be back again on Thursday with another live stream. A normal video coming out tomorrow, I imagine. That is if I don't have any changes to my schedule. One final comment here from AFV saying, evening AFV. Good to see you. And yeah, so that's what the plan will be. Tomorrow, regular video. Thursday, another live stream. Hope to see you then. Have a fantastic day. Thanks for participating in the chat. Thanks for watching. Hasta luego. Hasta entonces. Adios. Bye-bye.